We're going to be meeting two celebrities who've beaten the pain and suffering of illnesses like anorexia and bulimia. But first, here's a look at how common the problem really is. Ooh, extraordinary figures there all together. Well, with us we have Raj Persaud, who's our sort of...
well, he's expert on
yes,
all,
expert on the mind and all that makes it happen. A man who's an expert on all sorts of things, Yuri Geller, and also Jenny Powell as well. Yuri, first of all, to come to you, I mean, I'm surprised to hear you having any problem, because you're the man in control. You talk about controlling people's minds, and, you know, the spoon bending, you control matter as well. So why couldn't you control yourself?
Well, first of all, we're talking about 20 years ago. And because I came from a very poor background, very poor family, suddenly I started making, you know, lots of money. And it just got to me. I mean, I was obsessed. I was on an ego trip. I wanted to become rich and famous. Therefore, I wanted to have everything, meaning excluding the 2 Rolexes that I was wearing and driving limousines and flying private jets. I used to go into a restaurant and I used to binge because I wanted everything. But I also wanted to stay looking good, and, you know, because I did a lot of television and I lectured and all that. And I thought that the best way to get rid of the food is sticking a finger down your throat. I didn't know what the word bulimia. I thought I invented it. I thought it was my private thing.
Yeah. How long did you suffer with it for?
1 year, until the day came when I couldn't get out of my car. I was so weak, and that's when I summoned up my willpower, my powers, my energy. And in the middle of Manhattan, 57th Street and 1st Avenue, I shouted out on the way, sort of I stumbled towards my apartment. I shouted out, 1, 2, 3, stop! And I stopped, and that's it.
Have you stopped it from then? You've never gone back to it? It's completely...
Never, ever.
You did the extraordinary thing as well, because you managed to keep it hidden from your wife, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I went through, you know, extensive... I put the towels under the doors, I flushed the toilets, opened the showers, put on the television loud, you know, when I vomited. Unbelievable, and I managed to keep it away for a whole year.
Yeah.
I used to take vomiting bags from airplanes and vomit in my cars behind the driver.
So you really do get caught up.
But you're still very slim now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I was a skeleton. I mean, listen, I forgot actually to bring a picture where I looked like some kind of a...
What weight?
I was really down to like 55 kilos.
Right. And you're very tall.
Yeah, and I'm tall. But again, willpower, and this is great for me to appear here today, because there's no doubt in my mind that this morning I will be able to stop hundreds of people at home.
Have to wait and see on that one,
we'll talk about that later. Jenny, your experience. Right.
Yeah, well, really, I've had a sort of dose of both anorexia and bulimia. And really, for me, anorexia started when I was about 13, 14. And I was dancing a lot, and I just wanted to be a dancer. And so I spent an awful lot of time sort of doing shows and competitions and things in a very skimpy leotard or what have you. And I just thought, I think at that age as well, you're so impressionable, and it's so much to do with image, that I really just wanted my bones to stick, my hip bones to stick out. Otherwise, I thought I wanted to have a concave stomach.
Did you realise what you were doing?
No, well, I thought I was doing it all for the best, and I thought, you know, I thought if I'm thin, I'm going to be happy.
That's the way it works, though, with her. I think certainly, I mean, I've been there myself when I was that age, but luckily your mum was across it. She helped you with it.
Yeah, my parents were very, very good. I mean, a lot of people seem to have this sort of idea that unless most sort of people with eating disorders come from a very unhappy background or whatever, but I had the most supportive family in the world, and it wasn't anything to do with my sort of upbringing with my family at all. It was just something, I mean, you were saying you were in control, you see, at that age as well, a 13-year-old girl, you're just not.
As we've seen from the statistics, it can start very young. I mean, Raj, with it, what would you say are the reasons behind this happening?
Well, I think we've already seen from today that the individual pathway by which people end up with an eating disorder differs from person to person. But the fact there's such a huge epidemic of it going on, and people are very worried, suggests there are certain common themes. And one of them might be that usually somewhere along the pathway is dieting, very rigid, excessive dieting. And that's very worrying, because something like 50% of women at any one moment are on a diet. And that perhaps explains why there's such such an epidemic.
Yeah.
And maybe something to do with a preoccupation with appearance, perhaps particularly cultural and media emphasis on unrealistic ambitions about people's appearance. For example, something like 60% of British women are over a size 12, and yet the media suggests that, you know, you can't be happy
unless you're a size 8 or,
right.
or less.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something that really annoys me. I mean, you go into like clothes shops now, which we all do all the time.
All the time.
And you know, I complain to all the girls in shops, saying, excuse me, but you know, is this dress made for somebody with a pair
all
of
the
breasts
things hanging
or not?
up precisely.
Yeah, because everything is sort of like
But isn't
really
Asian.
on time
Listen,
to go.
let's talk all a bit more about this in the phone when you're all going to be coming back to us.
Tell us
right?
to shut up now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sort of in a roundabout kind of way.
Yeah. If you do need help with an eating disorder, then give us a call on 0345 551 1000. Raj is going to be here with expert advice, and as you said, Yuri and Jenny are on